primarily about TfL and repairs in central London that hasn't been done, and it's about the Mayor of London's responsibilities. Now, I don't know why the Conservative group haven't raised their concerns with the Mayor directly, rather than come to us. I can only speculate, but perhaps it's because the Mayor of London currently has too many jobs. I mean, while he's been Mayor of London, he is all the time being paid more than his salary for being Mayor of London to write for the Daily Telegraph. So public service has only ever really been his second job. He's now an MP as well, and he's in David Cameron's political cabinet, whatever that means. I suspect it means he's running for leader of the Conservative Party. So some people might think being Boris Johnson itself is a job as well. You know, he's such a large character, writes books, makes TV appearances and so on. Is it any surprise that Conservative members can't get their concerns about the 53 bus dealt with by the person who is ultimately responsible for it? So I do urge members to support this amendment, but also urge them to have some sympathy for the Conservative councillors who find themselves so impotent on this issue they can't even reach their own mayor on an issue that affects their constituents.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I thank Councillor Hartley for raising this issue before Council, and Councillor Court for the carefully worded amendment. I regard 53, Mr. Mayor, as very much a lifeline that runs through the borough. When I lived in Gardner, moved there 20 years ago, it was the bus I got every day at the end of the street. And now I live in Cllrs Village, it's the bus again I get every day to come down to Town Hall and to visit my ward. It winds through Woolwich Common Ward and is much used by the people in Woolwich Common Ward. Between 5 and 7, it is full of cleaners, many of them cleaning Whitehall departments, chambermaids, security guards, builders, shop and restaurant workers, the people that really make London tick, many of whom can't afford to get the train or the tube and choose to get the bus all the way there, although it takes them longer. From 7 till 9 is principally a school route, and all my 3 girls took the bus to secondary school every day, and then it's full of shoppers and other people. And then on Sunday morning it's full of people going to church, packed with people going to church in New Cross, Lewisham, and Southwark, and all sorts of places. And Friday, Saturday night it's full of people coming back from parties in central London and so forth. It is really a great workhorse bus. It's a bus that's been around 63 years. But that Westminster bit, the bit to Whitehall that was originally Trafalgar Square, is an extremely important link in that bus. And many people do depend on it, and many people, and I've had many representations from my ward constituents, do take it the whole way. I wrote, when it became clear that this wasn't just a short-term measure due to the Bridge Street roadworks, and something was going on and it was still continuing after 6 weeks, I wrote to Leon Daniels at TfL on the 25th of March, and to this date I have had no response. I had a response via the council and via Mendeval, our GLA member, but no response directly from TfL. And I think that's very characteristic of the disdain which TfL actually treat local councillors and indeed often members of the travelling public. There is no excuse for this change. As Councillor Thorpe has said, the roadworks in Lewisham actually shouldn't directly affect 53. It doesn't go through Lewisham, it goes through New Cross. And the roadworks at MacCarthy do, but these are on TfL roads. These roadblocks need TfL permission. There is no reason why TfL cannot stipulate there will be special bus priority measures or a diversion to ensure the 53 has priority, and is not affecting one other bus apart from 53. This is nothing more than an attack on the working poor that depend on this bus, an attack on South East London, and a cheap cost-cutting measure by TfL, and we should campaign as a council across party to get that put back as soon as possible.
particularly low-paid people, which I believe to be absolutely correct. But as someone who doesn't drive, I travel on buses always, and there is an important observation I've made, which is the one I wish to share, which is that the majority, I would say, of the people travelling on the bus are from the BAME communities. And I think, therefore, that it isn't just an issue that impacts badly on the low paid, it impacts disproportionately on those communities, and that's something we should keep in mind. It also impacts on people who have mobility issues and might be older. And whilst this amendment is, of course, about value for money, and someone might say an older person doesn't have to pay the fare, nevertheless, that is their route, that is their way. And you might also say that this is actually only a small portion of the bus's route. Most of the route that it performed before January still performs. Well, I would remind you that not only is Westminster and the offices that David Gardner has so eloquently put to us affected, so is the route to St Thomas's Hospital. And that is something that does affect lots of people trying to get there from places where it is not easy to get to alternative routes to get up to there or back from there in this borough. And that is what I'd just like to ask you to remember. The other thought I have, two other thoughts, very quickly, Mr. Mayor. One is it possible to press, if not for a full immediate return to the full route, to have a partial return? I'm quite accustomed to be stuck in buses going when Blackwall Tunnel is having a mess, which turn short. Some turn short, some continue the full route. I can't see why that can't be programmed into the timetable. And my last point is, some time ago, I lived at the Standard. I can distinctly remember coming out one day from my home to see, almost outside it, a dolly stop had been put up by the bus company at the time, a temporary bus stop. That temporary bus stop very rapidly became a permanent bus stop, and it's there to this day. I have a slight misgiving over temporary alterations by bus companies. They do have a habit of becoming permanent. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.